Welcome to Fanalyze This. I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
And I'm Anthony Perry.
Hold on, AP. Let me fanalyze this for you real quick.
Tell 24 to pass the ball.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's not what I'm talking about, man.
Welcome to Fanalyze This. It's Tuesday, July 16th. I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
Hey, this is AP, Anthony Perry.
Oh, man, we got a few things to talk about today, but the main major thing that, of course, we're both been talking about all day and are very excited about, the Midsummer Night Classic. The All-Star Game is upon us again, and it is this evening, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Hey, it's a thing that's going down, man. In a couple hours, it's going to be happening.
I'm excited about that. Also, we're going to talk about last night's Home Run Derby. There's been a couple other little moves in the NBA. We'll touch on that. And there's a couple little stories in here about knuckleheads. Maybe we'll touch on the Pouncey Twins and Johnny Football. Let's get it going.
Johnny Football.
So, for those of you who didn't catch it, the Home Run Derby was last night. I know you saw it.
Whew, did I?
Dude, okay, well, first off, we didn't do a show where we made predictions, but we were texting each other yesterday and talking about it. I know you had Cano, and then you had someone else.
I had Cano, and I didn't have Davis.
No, you didn't have Davis.
I'm trying to think of the guy that I was looking to.
Did you have?
Yeah.
Anyways, I had Prince Fielder. I thought he would tie Ken Griffey Jr. for, 3 Home Run Derby crowns. Only one other guy's done that, obviously. It was Ken Griffey Jr. Prince let me down. He only hit 5 home runs. But who didn't let the fans of Oakland down? Did you see what Yoenis Cespedes did in the first round?
Man, Cespedes, he looked like the guy that we talked about earlier in the year. I was telling you why I thought Oakland would do well. He's a monster.
He's huge.
I mean, he's a smaller guy, but his lower half is huge. I mean, he has his bat speed was incredible.
He's got them Pujols forearms, too.
Yeah, he's got Popeye for real.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at him because I had Alvarez as the other guy.
Alvarez was
But
the
I
other
think
guy.
Alvarez
That's right.
might have gotten shut out. I mean, it was really bad. Cano didn't do much of anything. Alvarez didn't do much of anything. And the guy, I thought about it in my head, about that friend in your head, I was going to pick Cespedes, and I thought, nah, he might get out there and bomb. First time out, let's see what he does. I'm just going to watch it and enjoy it, thinking Cano was going to do well because he's only 15 minutes from his home,
Another point about Cespedes, too, like he, I think, has, 25 now or 21 home runs or somewhere around there, but no, I'm sorry, he's tied for 21st with the 15 home runs, but he hasn't hit one in 19 games, and he's only got 2 in, the past 31 games, so to do what he did yesterday, although it's, not major league pitching in the Home Run Derby, 5 of those 17 in the first round went up in the triple deck. How far is that at Citi Field?
Oh, man,
he was crushing them.
They were measuring 470, 480.
Dude.
Easy. But what gets me was you would think a guy with 15 home runs, why would he even be in the Home Run Derby? He's not known for bombs except for what he does in batting practice. And I understand he's prodigious in batting practice. They say he just lets off.
Yeah, I understand there are quite a few people in Oakland that go early to watch him specifically bat. Also, many players on the road teams that come to Oakland will watch him take batting practice. I guess it's just a sight to see.
Because he has bombs. The guy has bombs. And I say he's another one of those guys from Cuba who came into MLB and is just tearing it up. And as we joked earlier, I said he's 27 years old. And you said, well, he might be given his right age, which is the funny thing because we don't talk about guys from Cuba. It's usually the guys from the Dominican and Puerto Rico that come over, and we're like, these guys aren't 21. These guys aren't 19.
I always go back to the Pedro Martinez thing is always what I remember. Like, wait, you're how old?
Yeah, all of these guys, are a lot older than they appear to be, which was crazy. But the only one, Beltre, was actually younger when he came over than he let on because he had a birth certificate that said he was older so he could get over and play.
Right, I actually forgot about that.
Can you imagine that? The first time it went the other way.
We haven't even mentioned the National League players in the Derby last night. Really anything worth mentioning other than Harper?
I was going to say, were there National League guys in it except for Harper yesterday, knowing it was 4-4, but That's the only guy who really showed up and did anything.
Really, the only guy for the NL squad. And, he barely lost the final. The Cespedes, it was 8-9, I believe, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say he barely lost.
Well,
because remember when Cespedes
but they
hit
don't
his,
add the first round to
but
the final.
but what
so.
I mean by when he hit his ninth one, he threw his bat. He didn't continue. He only had 5 outs.
That's true. He had
several
outs to go.
He had several outs to go. So this could have been one of those things where he could have just hit to see how many he could have hit. But it was so nice when he hit that one. He just threw his bat in the air and walked away because he hit a bomb.
He has a really nice swing. I just hate that he's in Oakland A because we play him so many times a year.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's too bad.
But the thing is, the national fans got to see him maybe for the first time because
that's true. I don't think a lot of people on the national level see the Oakland Athletics unless they make the playoffs.
And last year they made the playoffs because they made that ridiculous run at the end of the year where they just didn't lose at home and they won all those, I don't know, it's 20-something one-run games or something. They were just killing baseball last year, but to lose in the playoffs. But people got a first look at this guy. I'm like, man, he is a great young player. But again, he's only batting .220.
Yeah, but again, emphasis on the young player, and that's where I was going with this. He's only in his second year, so he's going to get better.
Yeah, but he's young, but he's 27.
Right. Well, yeah, but young in baseball years. He's only a second-year guy, and that's what I wanted to bring up. Like, obviously, you can't talk about Major League Baseball last season and not bring up both Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. If Trout doesn't exist, that conversation's about Cespedes and Harper. Their numbers were actually more similar to each other than Harper's and Trout's were. And I thought it was really cool that the final to the Home Run Derby this year came down to two of the four biggest, youngest, brightest stars in the game right now, as far as offensive players go.
Right, 4 to 5 tool players. Guys that can run fast,
also
hit for power.
Trout and Puig in that conversation are the young, bright stars. But it was really cool that it ended up being Harper and Cespedes.
Absolutely. I mean, you could look at those two guys, one from the left side, one from the right side, both hitting these prodigious bombs. And you're going, wow, I didn't know. I just didn't know Harper had that in him. But they said Harper was winning a home run contest when he was 15, 16 years old when he was in Vegas. So this dude can hit.
Dang, 15, 16 years old.
15, 16 years old winning home run contest.
That's crazy.
So he's been one of those mature guys physically for a lot of years, where a lot of us were smaller guys at 15 years old. He was whoever he was going to be at 15. So Bryce Harper's a real deal. But Cespedes, my gosh.
Yeah, and only going to get better, both of those players. Really, all four of those players I just mentioned. Like, baseball's got a pretty bright future. And speaking of baseball, let's go on to the big game that's tonight at 5 o'clock. So I think we might have a little wager on it.
A little wager.
I mean, gambling's illegal. So.
Yes, only for fun.
Yeah, fun. Well, if you're a follower of Fanalize This, you hear that song, you know it's time to talk about baseball. And again, can't ever think of a better song to use for baseball, especially for the Midsummer Night's Classic than
Summertime. That's
perfect.
Right. It's that time of year.
Summertime is baseball.
It is, because you don't think anything else. I mean, if you got football going on in baseball season, you're like, really?
Yeah.
Then you know you must be from Texas, because you have nothing else going on in your life, usually but football year-round.
I think in Texas, football, does matter 365 days a year.
It's the only thing they do in Texas, man. We play baseball in other places.
Yeah. Well, we got the AL All-Stars, we got the NL All-Stars, and we've been talking about this great lengths off the air today. For those of you who don't know, AP is a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. From St. Louis. I'm a huge Anaheim fan because I refuse to call them the Los Angeles Angels. I was born in Anaheim. So obviously, if you haven't figured it out, I'm going for the AL. He's going for the NL. Now, I found it hard earlier while having this conversation with you to come up with anything to debunk what you were saying about the National League pitchers. Clearly, a better pitching staff, the National League. You may have a few more 300 hitters on the National League roster, but I'm looking at just 1 through 5. Think about this, baseball fans. Mike Trout, Robinson Cano, Miguel Cabrera, Crush Davis, and Jose Bautista. How you gonna mess with that?
I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be as exciting as when we watched Pedro Martinez strike out 6 guys in a row when he did so when he was with Boston.
Oh, you think that's happening with the AL?
And I'm thinking it can very well happen tonight with Matt Harvey, because if Matt Harvey comes out right, he's going to come out throwing 95 to 98 miles an hour. And I don't care who you come up against. It's like this. It's daylight savings time. They're playing not in the darkness. They're playing in the lights. You're going to have slight shadows with sunshine going. You're going to have a guy throwing that hard, and people cannot see the baseball. And I can see him striking out 5 or 6 guys in the first 2 innings.
Okay, I can't argue with that, the whole sun factor, but you know what happens when someone gets a hold of a 100-mile-an-hour pitch, right?
Hey, they might drive it out the stadium. It's very possible, but I'm going to say this. I'm looking at Harvey, and I'm saying his juices are going to be going. And I'm just going to say, like your boy Verlander did in All-Star games, his juices get going, but, the San Francisco Posey got him and, kind of messed that up for him. But I'm looking at this guy, and I'm saying if they don't hit him, Kershaw might be the second guy out. Kershaw is very hard to hit.
Well, Kershaw should be starting. The game's in New York is the only reason Harvey's starting, in my opinion.
And that Kershaw pitched last. I mean, with Kershaw pitched, what did we say, Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, he had one less day of rest than Harvey as well.
I'm going to say Harvey hasn't pitched since.
But you got to go with the home team guys.
But actually, Harvey was supposed to pitch on Friday, and he didn't start. So that means he had off another 3 or 4 days before then. Harvey hasn't pitched for like 8 days.
Okay, then I'm going to make a real bold prediction. I didn't realize he had that much of a layoff.
So 7 or 8 days.
He's going to get rocked early.
No, he's going to come in
early.
Juiced up. The only thing that might happen to him is he might be a little wild. When you have a guy that throws that hard, that has days off, he's not going to get hit. He might walk somebody before he gets hit because you still don't hit a 100-mile-an-hour pitch.
Well, I wouldn't recommend letting Mike Trout and Robbie Cano get on in front of Cabrera.
Let me tell you something. We know what Mike Trout does better than steal bases and hit doubles. He strikes out a lot. Oh, come on now. You got to be. If you look into Mike Trout's, and we talked about this last year when we talked about him being MVP versus just the American League Rookie of the Year, was he struck out a lot. He didn't walk much. He struck out a lot.
You can't put his base stealing in that because that's the best aspect of Mike Trout's game.
No. What I'm saying is
Hands down.
I'm saying you can't steal first. So what I'm saying is come against a guy that's throwing 100 miles an hour. Mike Trout's either going to hit it hard or he's going to miss it. I guarantee you. Mike Trout's not going to be buttoned for base hits. He's going to strike out.
Sidebar. I'm going to bet he gets walked the first batter of the game.
Oh, no, he can get walked.
I'm going to bet Mike Trout gets walked to lead off the game.
And I'm going to say to you that can very well happen because the guy hasn't pitched for 7 or 8 days. That's what I'm saying to you can very well happen.
No,
he's not
but I'm not
hit
saying it might happen. I'm saying it will happen.
I'm saying he's striking out.
I may be wrong, but I doubt it.
Well, we know what Barkley is like, and Barkley is not in this contest, so he is wrong, that Bama boy. So you can do it with your Orange County. We already have one slight wager, which is our lunch.
You're talking about that sandwich and Dr. Pepper you're giving me tomorrow.
No, we're talking about a Thursday payoff, and I'm saying, yes, if you win, you can have one, but I don't see where you have it. You said to me, you looked at our pitching staff. What I really like
is much better.
Yeah, because most of your stars pitched on Sunday,
unfortunately,
and Saturday. The NL stars aren't the same way. The NL has better hitting than the American League does, and we've won 3 in a row. So I'm saying if the National League gets a 2-run lead, let's say in the 5th inning, by the 6th inning, you're going to see 1 of 4 closers come into the game and pitch consecutive innings, and the game will be over. If somebody in the American League hits Chapman from Cincinnati, I'll double your sandwich.
Here's what I'm saying.
Kimbrough is not hittable. Who you going to hit?
I'm not worried about that. I'm looking at this roster of batters in the American League. Hitting's not going to be an issue. Let's go to the American League bullpen, though. And I'm going to make an even bolder prediction. I say Rivera gets in, does actually something positive, and gets to go out on top.
You know what? If Rivera comes in and they don't lay down for him, he's going to get bombed.
He might get a save.
Well, I'm going to tell you about mites. But if he comes into the game and the American League is winning, he is going to get bombed. He is an 87-mile-an-hour split-finger guy whose ball isn't breaking much, and he's getting hit this year, even though I think he's leading the American League in saves. And he is a great reliever. He is a great pitcher. I still say he's getting hit. He's getting hit. He's going to get bombed. So I'm looking at the guy saying the National League, if they're losing when he comes in, it's over.
The American League people just disagree with that statement. Like they were so rowdy about how foolish your statement was.
Oh, the crowd. This is American League. This is an American League building. I understand that, and they're going with you. And it's okay, but I'm looking for a sandwich plus some. And not only, Michael, I'm going to hear you say, AP, you were so right. You love baseball so much that you gave me some props, which I'll give you all the props in the world because you're an Anaheim fan and you guys beat us 2 out of 3, and I get it. But the National League is going to whoop on the American League, and it will be 4 in a row.
I do got to point out one more thing, though. The only
Please.
reason I think the National League pitching is better, you got 3 replacement pitchers. We got 7. That ain't right.
You mean to tell me
we had 7 guys
7
on the
stars
roster who pitched Sunday and aren't playing the game?
Wow.
You have 3. Well, 4 if you count Freeman, but he's not a pitcher.
No, he's not a pitcher. Because I was hoping for my
you know
boy
what?
Wainwright.
And I had to bring that up, even though we're running short on time for the All-Star game. Freddie Freeman wins the NL fan vote. Hurts his thumb, right?
Yeah.
Hurts his thumb, and Yasiel Puig doesn't get put on to replace Freeman. Brian McCann from Atlanta gets added by Bruce Bochy, San Francisco Giants manager. Come on now, that's just a Dodger Giant thing, right?
And I would agree with you, except that last week Puig got hurt too. So unless Puig is fine, he got hurt last week when Freeman got hurt. He ran into a wall.
Yeah,
so,
but not everyone plays again. I mean, put him on the roster just as,
No, I'm
for
with
ratings.
you. I am with you. I think they should put him on and have him out there. Even if he doesn't play, they should have him out there so people can see he's not going to be in the futures game. Because that's the AAA guys.
Think about it like this. Do you think third-string catcher on the NL roster, Brian McCann's going to get in the game?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you he's going to pitch it, and I'll tell you why. It's because Yadier Molina got hurt, and the Cardinals are trying to lessen his time because they brought up a third catcher in St. Louis just to give him time off because the guy Cruz that's behind him, they wanted him to be able to play. So they've been pulling Yadier out of games. So I imagine he's only going to go like 3 innings, maybe 4.
So correct me if I'm wrong here. Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers, all National League teams?
Yes, sir.
So Bruce Bochy had the choice to either help out the St. Louis Cardinals or the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he made a choice to help out the Cardinals, is what you're telling me.
It's quite possible.
Because a catcher, that's the same position Yachty plays, is it not?
Well, that helps out the National League because the National League, if Yachty's not going to play, you need a backup catcher. And if you have your second guy going in, which is Posey, then you need somebody as an emergency backup, if not a pinch hitter.
I can't believe I just had to look at the sports page to remind myself who the backup catcher in the NL was. The most popular player. I don't know if you knew this, but last week the list came out. The highest sold jersey in MLB, Buster Posey. I had to look at the paper and remember Buster Posey.
Buster
Wow.
Posey's 3rd year or 4th year in the league. He has 2 World Series rings, 1 an MVP. He's had a great time.
And come back from a huge injury. That collision at the plate, oh, man.
Huge injury. And, he's probably the second best catcher in the National League. Well, the Dodgers would argue with that because they got a guy throwing people out at 45%. So, we'll see. But Molina's the man.
Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about Yachty. Always been a big fan, really, of all 3 Molinas, and baby brothers clearly better than the 2 older brothers combined. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with more Finalize This.
Can I help you? Can I help you? What do you do? I do it all. Have a seat. I will because that's something I can do. Do something. Do something. I am. I did. What did you do? It's already done. What did you do? I helped you. Are you drunk? Not drunk enough.
Well, there wasn't too much that went on over the weekend basketball-wise. However, we're here to update you on all the small moves that have happened since last time we talked to you. A lot of deals have gone, they've been finalized since last time we talked. We talked about the Dwight deal. I think Kaman was already coming to the Lakers last time we were on, but I know Nick Young and Wesley Johnson are new acquisitions.
Right. I think the Kaman thing happened as soon as they knew Dwight wasn't going to come for sure. So that might have been, I don't know, everything was made final, Tuesday?
No,
was
you know
it Monday?
what? I think it was Monday that Kaman came over.
Yeah.
So we hadn't talked about that. So the Lakers got actually, 4 new players, but one of the 4 is an old player. We're working on finalizing the buyout of Jordan Farmar's Turkish contract, I believe.
He had a 3-year contract in Turkey that paid him more money, like $3 million a year or whatever it was, and he gives that up to play for $1 million in the Lakers. So I guess you were right when you said people really want to play for the purple and gold because he comes around the world.
Well, not only that, he's an LA guy. You got to remember, Jordan Farmer played at UCLA, played his high school ball in the Los Angeles area, apparently with Nick Young, not on the same high school team, but they played in club leagues together and all that. And he tried to recruit Nick Young to go to UCLA when he ended up becoming a Trojan. On paper, I like how that chemistry sounds coming off the bench together. Wesley Johnson, I got to admit, I don't know too much about him other than he was drafted way too high by Minnesota out of Syracuse.
Yeah,
but I know we got a lot younger.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
A lot younger.
We talked about that. We figured there's only, if you count Kobe as an old guy at 32, 33, you know, he's not that old, but he's old for basketball. So you have one guy that's really old.
He'll be 35.
I thought he's 33 years old. He's 34 years old right now.
I thought, is he 34?
He's been playing 17 years.
He was 17 when
this
he got
is This is his 17th
so he's about
year.
to turn
34
yeah.
So
okay,
that's
so
what I'm saying,
right.
33, 34 years old. So he's not really old, but he's old for basketball because he's been in 16 plus 17 years. Only one guy's old, and that's your point guard.
The oldest player in the NBA.
Right.
And then you look down the roster, you got Powell and Blake are 33, and then after that, I don't think anyone's 30. So
no, you got all these
we
17.
definitely got younger.
Yeah.
And for those of you who didn't hear, you might have noticed an older guy's name we haven't talked about. Meta World Peace got amnestied, and he went home. He's the newest New York Knick. What do you think about that?
You know, and it's funny. We talked about that. I really wish he wouldn't have gone. I still don't understand how all of that works, how you can cut a guy and then go sign 4 other guys that at least match his salary or more, even though it's good for the franchise. But I don't understand the numbers game.
Oh, no, don't ask me to explain math. I'm horrible at it.
It's not the math, it's how they figure out the caps. But I appreciate the fact that he's going home after first talking about going to China, because he didn't make any sense at all.
Or playing arena football or ice hockey, because those were all stories that were out there.
Right, so that's when we thought, man, are you really going back into your bipolar or whatever your state of delusion is? But he's going home. He's playing in his home state, which is really nice.
And that's the thing. We better hope he doesn't go back into crazy meta crazy Ron Artest, because now he's going to have this whole Queensbridge militia in the stands with him at MSG.
You know, not far from being in New York. So St. John University is not that far away.
You
so
saw what I did there, right?
Yeah.
I played a Nas song to talk about the Ron Artest story.
I know, you're wrong. You know, you're wrong. But that's where he's from. That's his area, and I get it. And he's going to help make them tougher, just like we believe that KG is going to do with Brooklyn.
Oh, no doubt about it. KG makes any squad tougher when he goes to it. The thing that I like about the Meta signing, though, Kmart's still looking for a job. Isn't he essentially the same player as Meta World Peace?
He is, but
Meta's that size, that toughness.
Meta's a better defensive player.
Much better defensive player, but I think it's a great pickup for them.
No, I'm saying it's an upgrade for them. It's an upgrade for them because there are days he can score 12, 15 points in a game, though you don't want him believing that he is a scorer, because then he's going to start bombing those three-pointers like he did in L.A. And that sometimes you're like, Meta, you're like 4 for 13 today. Could you stop? It's halftime. Please just stop. But, so he has his moments, but he still played very good defense. He didn't want to play defense. He played defense, and you got to always appreciate that. So I'm looking at him going home and making them a better team, because Carmelo is not the defensive guy.
No, definitely not.
And if you look at them down low, their center/forward that's constantly injured. You don't know what's going on with him. So you look at them and say, who do they have? Bring in this 6'7", 6'8" guy to play monster defense on shooting guards and small forwards and some of the other forwards that aren't going to just post up everybody. I like the move. I don't think it makes New York that much more dangerous, but I think it makes them a more solid team.
Right. Speaking of great defenders, another little signing here. Tony Allen got locked up by the Grizzlies to stay in Memphis.
Great signing for them.
To me, the second best perimeter defender in the league.
I don't know much better. I don't know much better unless we find somebody that's younger.
I guess I'm basing it on the whole body of their career, so I still got Meta edging him out.
Okay.
But, I mean, if Tony Allen keeps playing defense like he's been playing, he's going to go down as the greatest perimeter defender possibly of all time. I mean, that's his entire game. 100% of Tony Allen's game is defense.
He's like a Michael Cooper that doesn't really score.
Yeah.
And that's what Michael Cooper was for the Lakers. And I'm not the biggest Laker fan, but I understand basketball and I like defense. And Michael Cooper played somebody's tough guy at 6'7". He was like, he didn't back down from anybody. And that's what I love about Tony Allen. He doesn't back down from anybody. Wherever he's suited up, the other guy that I look for is the guy we talked about, Steven, that played in San Antonio that got cut.
Oh, Steven Jackson.
So
still looking for a job.
So whenever he gets signed again, I'm going to like the way he plays defense too. because he plays all out. He's a guy that will score you some points and play hard-nosed.
Since we're this far into free agency and Steven Jackson's still looking for a job, maybe he's the guy the Lakers could pick up for the vet minimum.
Do they have a vet minimum, though? I thought they've already
I would have
used
to
that.
look that up. I'm not sure, but it would be ironic if we got rid of Meta just to bring Steven Jackson in, because they're also essentially the same person.
You know, with a little different personality, because they both rap. Steven Jackson's working on an album. Can you imagine a rap album? I don't get it, but they're very similar.
It couldn't be worse than the rumored rap album Chandler Parsons and Dwight Howard are working on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, because that's happening. One other signing, though, that happened, and because we are a Southern California-based show, have to mention this. Elton Brand got a new job. He signed in Atlanta to be Paul Millsap, their other new power forward's backup. I like this signing.
You might like the signing, but what did I say about Atlanta? They will never be a basketball city as much as they want to be. Who are they going to beat? It seems like they're just bringing pieces together, but you don't understand a plan in Atlanta. I've never understood
Right, like
a plan.
you don't see their end game.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
Like it seemed for a minute it was built around Horford, but what are you putting around him, really?
Horford and some good forwards. You had guys that played like positions,
Well,
so they
have
were
good forwards.
interchangeable.
Now I got Millsap, Brand, Korver. Those are good forwards.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're thinking of like a more banging down low type of forward.
No. I'm just saying.
Notice you rolled your eyes when I said Korver.
Yeah, because I still don't think of him as a forward, power or small, because he's definitely a small forward, but he's a big shooting guard, and I think that he would be best served playing shooting guard. You know, he's that guy that you need off on the wing, bombing whatever he does, and a small forward, I think should be more of a rebounder that scores, and I don't see him as a rebounder that scores. I see him as a guy who's going to score some buckets, and that's how I look at Korver. So I look at Atlanta like, but who's your leader on the floor?
I guess it'd have to be Al Horford.
Yeah, but it usually comes from your point situation. Horford is one of those rah-rah guys
Well,
that plays all out.
Speaking of point, I don't think Teague is happy because when they fired Larry Drew, he almost went to Milwaukee.
I was going to say, he tried to go to Milwaukee,
yeah,
and they
but then
matched
Atlanta
it.
matched it. So the point guard can't be happy.
Unless they're going to match his offer just to trade him, because that's also a possibility. When you match your offer and say to a guy, okay, if that's what you want to do, we'll trade you to Milwaukee. What does Milwaukee have that we want? So we never know. You know, some things could be working out. So it's going to be interesting what's going on in Atlanta. But like you said, we're in Southern California. This is Dodger, Angel, Clipper, Dodger land.
Yeah, I had to give Elton Brand a little love. He's a longtime Clipper.
Yeah, longtime Clipper, Bull, and whatever else he did in Duke.
You want to talk about some knuckleheads?
Go ahead.
We got a couple minutes. Some people's children, right? Okay. We're not going to have time for both of these. So do we go Johnny Football or do we go Pouncey Twins?
Well, let's go Johnny Football.
Let's go Johnny Football. It's more lighter hearted. Okay. Okay. Johnny Football, of course, is current Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel from Texas A&M. He's kind of a knucklehead, isn't he?
He's a young rich kid.
He is
that is now being celebrated.
20 years old. He's always at the club. He left the prestigious Manning, the first family of quarterbacks in the NFL, the Manning camp over the weekend. And first the Mannings tried to cover for him. They said he was sick.
Dehydrated.
Then his dad came back with dehydrated. Like Bomani Jones said yesterday on ESPN, we all know what time it is when you hear dehydrated.
Yeah, in the sun because you had too much alcohol to drink and no water.
Oh, weird. You know, some people don't get, you're supposed to drink like a gallon of water if you're going out drinking. That's what you do. While you're getting ready, drink a gallon of water. But no, come on. You want to be a professional quarterback. What message is this sending for NFL teams that are thinking about drafting you next season?
But the thing is, I don't think he's trying to be a professional quarterback. I think right now he
Wait, you don't think he's going to leave college after this season?
No, I think you're right in that regard. What I'm saying is I don't think he's thinking that far. I think right now the only thing he's thinking about is he won what he won, which is a Heisman Trophy. His family has money. He's going out to celebrate and live it up right now. I think he's going to think about next year when school starts and he's going back and now he's in football practice. That's when I think he starts thinking about next year.
Well, they got a report in like a couple days, right? Or isn't it next week?
I know school starts probably late August, early September, so practice has got to start sooner or later.
So wouldn't it be nice if you were a college quarterback and you just won the Heisman Trophy less than 2 weeks before you're starting your sophomore season to get some pointers from the Manning family?
I'm gonna
Don't
tell
you think that might have been a good idea?
He wasn't even there to get pointers. He was there to help high schoolers and younger people throw. That's what that camp was all about. So he was supposed to be there volunteering his time and efforts for young kids. And yet he was drunk on the Friday and couldn't stay. That tells you all you need to know about a young rich kid, that his whole life is what it is. Now he's partying.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we find out like a year down the road that Johnny Manziel never wanted to play football and it's like a Todd Marinovich scenario where the dad made him do it?
Oh, that would be crazy. But see, the way he's being celebrated right now and he's loving it, I don't think he's the same thing. I think Todd talked about not wanting to play football so much that he was done. Todd was done. This guy is partying and loving it. So, enjoy what you do, Johnny Football.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not a good look. You're about to go in the NFL next season. You might want to start acting like a professional.
It's not a good look because kids are watching him because he's in college. And it's just not a good look. You want to party, but don't do it and say, I'm at a camp. So I get you.
Well, we ran out of time, so we didn't get to point out how stupid the Pouncey twins are. But Free Hernandez hat's not a good look either.
No.
Anything you want to add, AP?
No, man. I just want to say welcome back. Boy, I'm glad everything is feeling good, and I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that sandwich. And don't forget my Dr. Pepper, too. For Finalize This, I'm Joe 5 o'clock somewhere.
Hey, this is Anthony Perry.
Peace.